T.I.'s son, King Harris, has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected.
Trying to coddle him for. Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
Him being arrested isn't really like the shocker. It's him coming out and his, I guess, reaction to it, right? Because everybody's saying, King, you grew up privileged, bro. Why are you going down this path? Now he's talking about F the police, F12. So, you know, it just, The streets ain't buzzing about nothing else right now except the Harris family's worst nightmare. And this ain't about flashy jewelry or some viral Instagram stunt. It's about life or death inside one of the coldest places on earth, prison. King Harris, the son of rap icons T.I. and Tiny, is fighting for his life in intensive care after a savage attack that feels more like a mob hit than a regular prison scuffle. Word from the inside says King was ambushed in his own block so viciously that guards had to drag him out as chaos exploded around him. His face swollen, body limp, barely moving, while the entire tier turned into a war zone with multiple inmates laid out, bruised and battered. This wasn't just a fight gone wrong. Whispers say this was a calculated hit, planned down to the detail, and the motives are darker than anybody could imagine.
Steve Sadar reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve Sadar that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crime that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring criminal charges against Tiny and T.I.
The talk inside Georgia's prison walls is cold-blooded. This wasn't no petty beef or routine check. This was a surgical ambush meant to shatter him. Some inmates allegedly set him up weeks in advance, scheming to humble him for flaunting his wealth and privilege like it meant something behind bars. Others insist it was payback, a brutal reminder that in prison, your last name and your Instagram clout don't keep you safe. Respect comes from loyalty and toughness, nothing else. As one ex-inmate put it, weakness makes you pray. And right now, King Harris is learning that lesson the hardest way possible.
So the dynamics here are interesting, but I can't judge how the parenting is gone, because everything that we've seen has been stuff that many of us would have said or similar if we saw our children do this. But I will say this, a lot of what's happening is because it's in the public. Like most children don't have to do this in the public.
As soon as the news broke, the internet blew up like a bomb. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform flooded with shock, outrage, and rumors flying out of control. Every corner of the internet lit up with reactions, and the split was brutal. Some people sent real prayers for King's recovery, while others straight up mocked him, posting, "King finally met the real world and couldn't handle it."
I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for Family Hustle. Right. That does come with some, it's some adversity. Mm-hmm. It's some adversity to come with that. People get in your bed.
The coldness online only piled more pressure on the Harris family, who insiders say are in full-blown panic mode. T.I., the father who's used to controlling every room he walks into, reportedly hasn't closed his eyes since the attack. Word is he's been on the phone non-stop, dialing attorneys, politicians, and anyone with even a scrap of pull inside the Georgia prison system. One Atlanta insider even claimed T.I. is ready to cut checks, sign NDAs, make backroom promises, whatever it takes to get King out alive before another hit comes down on him.
I graduated. That's the only good thing they posted of me going viral. I'm not on the media's good side. I don't know why, but it ain't.
Meanwhile, Tiny's holding down her own war room, tapping publicists, media allies, and lawyers like she's running a crisis campaign. But insiders whisper that even their ironclad unity is showing cracks under the weight of this disaster. Behind closed doors, arguments are said to be explosive, with both parents pointing fingers, each one blaming the other for how their son ended up in this nightmare to begin with. Friends close to the family say they can't even tell if T.I. and Tiny are fighting for King's survival or just fighting each other. Either way, their son's life hangs in the balance, and the Harris dynasty that once looked unshakable now feels like it's coming apart at the seams. And this time, the stakes aren't about TV ratings, flashy tours, or family pride. This time, it's about life or death, and what's twisting the knife even deeper are the rumors already spreading like wildfire. Whispers say King's beatdown wasn't random at all. It was fallout from a contraband deal gone sideways. The story goes he either refused to play ball or tried to finesse the wrong crew. And in prison, that's a death sentence.
Loyalty is the only real currency, and one broken promise can have you marked instantly. Insiders close to the investigation claim King was deliberately lured into a corner of the block where 3 men were waiting to jump him. And here's the wild part. The surveillance cameras, they mysteriously went dark right when it happened. The Georgia Department of Corrections is brushing it off, swearing there wasn't any glitch, but nobody's buying that fairy tale. One of T.I.'s former road managers said it straight, it's Georgia. Cameras break when they need to break. That's the type of dirty truth the streets believe. And now, while King's condition stays shaky, the Harris household is hotter than ever, pressure breaking them apart from the inside. Fans haven't forgotten the messy moments leading up to this either, like that infamous Atlanta Falcons game when T.I. was caught on Instagram Live putting King in a headlock after another heated blow-up about his lifestyle. The whole world saw T.I. screaming, "You are embarrassing yourself and your family," while security tried breaking it up and Tiny rushed in to cool things down.
You can, you know what I'm saying, kind of woo-saw yourself outside of the public opinion. I really admire his dedication and commitment to the craft, because, you know, I kind of told him, you know, what was wrong about it. Making mistakes. I ain't had no daddy who would pull up and get on my ass anytime. Things I did, you can't get away with.
I know that.
Man, damn. Yeah, that's I ain't see that one coming. You know
Really?
what I mean? Nah, I didn't.
Back then, people thought that was King's rock bottom moment, but this ambush proves the bottom can drop even lower. Now, with King laid up in a hospital bed fighting for his life and the Harris family's private drama spilling across the internet, that Falcons game looks less like a scandal and more like a preview of the ugly storm they're trapped in now. Prison insiders say King wasn't just attacked for his last name. He was humiliated with non-stop taunts about his parents' darkest scandals. The old trafficking allegations tied to T.I. and Tiny, claims the family denied from day one, never truly faded from the public's memory. And inside prison, that gossip becomes deadly ammo. King only poured gas on the fire, flexing for social media even from behind bars, calling out rivals, hyping himself as Atlanta's next superstar, but the veterans inside weren't buying the act. One ex-inmate spelled it out cold. "We don't care who your daddy is. If you don't pay what you owe or you run your mouth, you get handled." And now King Harris is paying that price in blood. Meanwhile, T.I. is burning every bridge and pulling every string he's got left. Sources claim he's threatened to go public with exposés on prison conditions, while at the same time slipping stories to friendly outlets, trying to spin the blame off King and onto a broken system. It's classic celebrity crisis management, but with every hour that passes and threats still circling around, one chilling question keeps echoing: is it already too late to save him? And deeper than that, the bigger question, was King raised to feel so untouchable that reality had no choice but to swing back harder than anyone ever imagined? Because the whispers aren't stopping, they're spreading like wildfire. Word in those prison corridors is that King didn't just get beat down. He might have crossed the wrong people in a way that can't be undone. You don't just bounce back from what insiders are whispering now. The talk is that a contraband deal was moving through the prison and King either tried to back out or pulled a slick move that insulted some real power players behind those walls. In a world where every decision is about survival, that kind of betrayal is basically signing your own death warrant. And the chilling detail? Word is King's name allegedly popped up in a contraband ledger tied to a broken promise. And in prison, broken promises don't just cost you respect, they get paid back in blood. But the rabbit hole gets darker because it ain't just about contraband. Some say King's last name itself has become a curse inside. The Harris family has always attracted heavy attention in Georgia's prison system, but this time that attention is poison. Those old trafficking allegations tied to T.I. and Tiny, though denied, never really disappeared. King couldn't outrun that shadow. Other inmates reportedly mocked him, calling him soft, taunting that the same scandals haunting his parents now painted a fresh target on his back. On top of that, his own reputation worked against him. Loud, flashy, acting like he was the star of the yard. Resentment piled up like dynamite waiting for the match. For some of the older inmates, it wasn't even personal anymore. It was symbolic. One correctional officer even admitted off the record, high-profile inmates like King, they're pawns in somebody else's power struggle. And now, King might be paying the ultimate price for becoming that pawn? When a celebrity lands behind bars, he's never just another inmate. He's a trophy, a bargaining chip, a walking stake statement. Taking down the famous one sends a message to the whole yard. And one former Georgia inmate said it plain, you take out the star, you control the stage. And that's exactly what might have gone down with King Harris. Meanwhile, inside the Harris household, the storm is tearing T.Y. and Tiny apart. Sources describe their arguments as explosive. Tiny pointing fingers at the broken prison system and shady outside influences, while T, I insist the only path out is through discipline, pressure, and calling in every connection he's ever built. Tiny wants to frame King as the victim of a rigged system, but T.I. is doubling down on power moves, political pressure, and high-stakes phone calls. This divide isn't just threatening their marriage, it's putting the entire Harris empire under the harshest spotlight it's ever seen. One insider close to the couple didn't mince words. This is worse than the lawsuits, worse than the reality TV fallout. This is the ugliest crisis they've ever faced. And the more they scramble, the messier the fallout gets. Family friends are torn too. Some warn that blasting the prison system in public will only put a bigger target on King's back. Others argue staying silent looks like surrender, and the Harris name can't afford to look weak. Meanwhile, every leak, every anonymous tip, every whispered comment from a prison guard is throwing gasoline on the blaze already raging across social media. Fans are connecting old scandals, dusty lawsuits, and now this bloody ambush, creating a picture far uglier than the Harris family ever imagined. Let's not act like this is King's first run-in with drama. Folks haven't forgotten his online antics, calling out rivals, flashing stacks of cash, and branding himself as Atlanta's next wild card. On the outside, it came off like entertainment. But inside prison, that same energy painted him as a target from the moment he stepped in. Reports say other inmates mocked him behind his back, clowning that he was acting gangster when everybody knew he grew up cushioned by luxury, cameras, and security. To them, King wasn't dangerous, he was a spectacle and eventually a liability. In prison, psychological warfare can be just as lethal as fists, and every rumor, every side eye, every whispered threat is the opening move for another ambush. With King's privileged upbringing being common knowledge, he became the perfect punching bag for resentment. Private schools, reality TV fame, bodyguards, and high-priced lawyers, things most inmates could never dream of, made him glow like a neon target in a dark yard. Some hated him outright, others felt insulted by his tough guy act, and a few just saw him as a pawn for their own power plays. Either way, King's celebrity turned against him. His fame became a weapon, but also his downfall. And now, outside those prison walls, the Harris empire is cracking under the weight of this chaos. The other kids are being dragged into the storm, caught up in messy paternity rumors and old disputes that were supposed to stay buried. The line between private heartbreak and public scandal has disappeared, and suddenly everything's spilling into the open. The family doesn't control the story anymore. The story controls them. The same spotlight that once built the Harris brand is now tearing it apart, and the emotional toll is brutal. This ain't about a canceled TV show, a messy lawsuit, or even some viral embarrassment. This is about their son's life and the family's entire legacy hanging in the balance. Every headline makes the danger sharper. Every whisper of betrayal cuts deeper. And every public statement feels like a gamble that could explode in their faces. For years, the Harris family thrived off attention. But right now, that spotlight feels toxic, dripping like poison on an open wound. And here's the cold truth. The justice system doesn't bend for fame. It doesn't care how many hits T.I. sold or how many seasons the Harris clan dominated reality TV. Behind those prison walls, celebrity doesn't protect you. It exposes you. It makes you a bargaining chip, a pawn, a walking headline waiting to happen. For King Harris, that last name, once his crown, is now a curse threatening his very survival. This ambush inside prison wasn't just a one-off attack. It feels like the prologue to a saga darker than anybody imagined. And the haunting questions won't stop. Is King paying the price for arrogance? Or is there a deeper plot? Contraband deals gone wrong, enemies pulling strings in the shadows, and a broken system already setting him up to fail before he ever had a chance to grow? One thing is clear, the Harris dynasty is standing on a knife's edge, and the world is watching every second of it. If you want the full breakdowns as this story unravels, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Because this storm is far from over. These questions hang over the Harris family like storm clouds ready to explode. Some say it's karma, others whisper conspiracy, and a few call it destiny, the unmasking of a dynasty built on fame, money, and controversy. Whatever the truth is, one fact can't be denied. King Harris has become the face of a cold reality check. In prison, there are no TV edits, no Instagram filters, no security team waiting in the wings. It's raw survival. Every move judged, every misstep punished, and every wrong deal comes with a price in blood. And now, the world is watching almost in slow motion as the Harris dynasty stares down its harshest test yet. But this attack on King doesn't just rattle his family, it's shaking the culture. Fans, critics, and insiders are all asking the same question. Is this the downfall of a legacy or the start of a redemption arc no one saw coming? Is King Harris a victim of a broken system, or did his own choices put the target on his back? And could this ambush be just the first act, foreshadowing darker secrets still buried, waiting to spill out and tear the Harris Empire apart for good? One thing's for sure, this saga is far from finished. Drop your thoughts below and let us know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the next chapter in this wild story is already on the horizon and you won't want to miss it.